Like any national championship, the road to the All American is a grueling. Competing in 22 divisions against over 26,000 competitors. If you're one of the 50 anglers in this event, you've done something special. But today, the final 5 qualifiers take to the lake. They'll be fighting for the crown of the nation's #1 weekend angler at $100,000. Hi, and welcome to Hot Springs National Park, Arkansas. This is a place that's always been about water, and we're here on the shores of Lake Hamilton for one of America's truly unique sporting events, the All American Tournament. I'm Tommy Sanders along with Jerry McKinnis. And Jerry, these guys have been through thick and thin to get here, but once they're here, man, they found plenty of fish to catch.
They sure did. As we watch them go out here, I'm so impressed with how hard it was to get down to a final 5 amongst this group of guys. And boy, a lot of different fishing patterns going on here. These guys are throwing spinner baits in shallow water, top water baits, flipping docks, crank baiting out in 12 feet of water. So that's going to be fun to watch during the day. And these 5 guys are going to be fun, too.
It's a good group of 5. The 5 who are going to compete for the $100,000 first prize is Squeaker David Port from Olathe, Kansas.
Always want to watch that last guy that qualified.
The local favorite is a fellow named Keith Green from just down the road in Arkadelphia, Arkansas.
Probably remember his dad, Ricky Green, famous professional bass fisherman.
Gary Simpson, that's an incredible story there.
Oh, man, I'll let you talk about that a little later, what it was. The sentimental favorite for sure.
Guy with a lot of confidence who's happy to be here, Ricky Smith from Collinsville, Mississippi.
He announced that he's going to win. Why are we even
I guess we'll go ahead and shoot it anyway. And Jeff Coble, he's a very accomplished fisherman.
He's won an FLW, won the 3rd FLW there ever was the largest one-day stringer in a final.
All right, watch out for that guy. Watch out for all these guys. We've got a great event coming up, the 2,000 All American. Ready to crank it up and go.
I'm gonna start pretty close by on a high spot out here that's got a couple of brush piles on it. See if I can hook one there this morning. I hooked a couple of fish there yesterday and I didn't get either one of them in at different times. I'll probably start here, fish a little bit, and then probably finish the day here also.
Jeff Coble, the favorite, coming into today. He caught 12 pounds and 2 ounces on day 1, 11 pounds on day number 2 to lead the pack into the finals. Now, these final 5 anglers started this 3-day event against 50 anglers who qualified from all over the country, and now they start back at 0 on this final day of competition for the championship.
And Tommy, let me give you a few rules here. They're pretty simple. 5 bass limit. It has to be 12 inches long now. And a 12-inch bass over in Hamilton probably going to weigh about a pound. So they want to catch 2 pounds and better in their size. Now, they are going to catch a lot of schooling fish, and Keith Green and the whole gang here, I bet, in the first hour are really after these schoolings.
They've been schooling here. Oh, found these in pre-practice probably. It's just a real good spot. I've fished this lake for a lot of years, and this is just maybe one of those community holes that everybody fishes, but the school of fish just kind of lives here. So I thought, what the heck, I'll start out here the first morning. And the first morning I pulled up here, and hopefully they'll come up this morning, but they schooled up, and I caught the limit really fast and caught about 13 right here before I left. Called several times and just got ounces when I was culling, and I ended up catching a couple of good ones. You just got to really pay attention out here and watch, because they can be anywhere. This is, I'll be about 50 foot right here. It's just the creek channel. There's 2 big major creeks coming out of here. It's just a good place. There's another one. There's one. That's a good fish, too. We need that one. Stay down. Oh, they're crazy acting fish. That's a good one. Stay on there for me, baby. Coming right at you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what we need to start the day right there, baby. Woo! Good chunky fish. That's one of those good ones I've been needing every day on that starchy day out, boy. So just gotta be careful not to lose him. Get an 8-ounce penalty if we one die on it. That's a good start right there. I'm proud to have that one, I guarantee you. We'll put him on the big side.
If you're in the right place, boy, you can catch a limit in a hurry. And I'll tell you exactly what a schooling bass is. It's a fish that has cornered minnows, bait fish, and kind of pushed them to the surface. They have no place else to go but the surface. And on this riffle, sometimes you can't see them real good, but it does make them school a little longer. So this is a good situation.
That was good. That's a good way to start the day right there. That's about 2.5, 2 3/4 pound fish, and that's about the biggest I've been catching. There's another one. He's not near as big, but he's a keeper. Number 2, that's about an average fish out here. Nothing really big.
We're watching Keith Green, and now on the right there, that is Gary Simpson. They're both bringing in a lot of keepers early here.
And they're fishing very similar. They're fishing similar topwater baits. And I don't think it really matters what kind of topwater bait you're throwing if you get in the right place. Keith is throwing a Boy Howdy, which is an old cotton cardell lure. And Simpson is throwing a Japanese bait, very, very similar to Zara Spook. But the secret is getting in the right place, finding those fish right up on the surface that are scattering the minnows all across in front of you. And boy, you can catch a lot of fish doing that.
Now, what, are you trying to make it look like a fish that's been sort of knocked silly by a bass? And sort of just skittering along the surface?
Absolutely. The reason I say sometimes it doesn't matter what you're throwing out there, because when the fish are in those little frenzies, they're not as cautious as they are if the bait fish aren't around. So if you can just get something in front of them and make it look pretty good, you got it made.
It's a Zara Spook type bait. It's not a Zara Spook. Everything was modeled after the Zara Spook. This is a Japanese bait called the Mega Bass, and it's just a real pretty high-tech Zara Spook. Okay. I'm going to be working back toward the marker. I hope it's had enough time to regroup as far as holding fish goes.
Gary Simpson of Gainesville, Florida, one of 5 finalists. We are at the All American Championship, Lake Hamilton, Hot Springs National Park, Arkansas.
The key here is to keep the boat in 30 to 32 feet of water and cast up into 18 to 25 feet of water. So quite a steep incline right here. And I think the fish are ambushing the shad as they come along this wall.
This little ledge kind of runs parallel to the bank here, and it bends back in. So I put in over here at the fish hatchery one morning, and I was going to actually run across the lake, and the fish come up busting while I was running across the lake. I just happened to catch them out of the corner of my eye. And I thought all this water was 40 foot deep out here, but I'm actually sitting in 15 right now. It's 40 right behind you.
Kind of been real lucky fishing Lake Hamilton with my good friends, the Murray twins, on an occasion or two. And we're talking about contour here. Those fishermen are talking about contour. You wouldn't think that would mix with schooling bass, but those fish that are out in the open water chasing minnows always like a good shallow place to fall back on.
Of course, you've got to spend time finding these places among all these anglers. Of course, the people are saying the guy with the best chance is the local favorite, Keith Green.
I just think it may be everybody's wanting to say I was a favorite, but local knowledge really has helped me, because just knowing where the fish have been over many years of practicing over here and fishing other tournaments here, I think that's what's really helped the most. There's one. That's a keeper. Not a very big keeper, but he's a keeper. He'll get in the boat here. I haven't got him yet. Number 3 is number 3, no matter how you look at it. He's little, but he is a keeper. I'm going to grab my culling deal here.
Keith Green with 3 fish there. This is Ricky Smith from Collinsville, Mississippi. You can't see it very well, but they say he is fluke fishing. And, Jerry, that's not too much different from the top water lure. Same style, same action.
Absolutely. They're putting bait up on the top and making it look like an injured minnow. That's the big secret right here. And everybody's doing it. And, I say everyone is doing it. I don't know that is a true statement, because our buddy Jeff Coble, that he's going to be out there throwing a crankbait, and he has not scored yet. He's the only guy who kind of dragging up the rear right now, but he will throw that crankbait, I believe, an awful lot today. He'll probably stay with it. And it's been so successful through the years. We've seen him in FLW events before. We know that and his buddies from North Carolina, the rest of his buddies from North Carolina, that is what they throw.
We got
they're
a rock
the
and
best
a
in the
roll in
world.
that.
Right now we're looking at Gary Simpson from Gainesville, Florida, and Keith Green is the local favorite.
A little bit
Man,
better.
Gary certainly is the sentimental favorite. What a story to get here to the All American.
He was diagnosed in '98 with lymphoma. He had a blow to the head with a golf club, and when we went to the doctor to check it out, a lump had come up a week later on his face, and they told us no problem, not to worry about it, didn't need to do anything about it. And so finally when it started to hurt a little, he went and had it taken out just for convenience sake. But then when it came back from the pathology lab, it was cancerous. And so he started chemotherapy right away, and he went through some real aggressive chemotherapy, and then radiation followed that, and by the end of October, he was finished with all of his treatment. And so he took November and December to recover the best he could and try to be ready for the January 1st, 99 Redman, in which he did fish, and he caught big bass in that tournament and just really boosted his courage to go ahead and do the whole tournament trail. And now we're here because of that.
This is a huge deal for me. You'd think by the 6th All-American, it would be old hat, but just it's not that way. Winning this tournament is all that counts for me. I don't aspire to anything else. I don't want to fish any pro trail. I have done that, and it's great, but I just can't be away from home that long. This is as good as it gets for me, and this is the best opportunity that I've ever had, very possibly the best opportunity I'll ever have. So today's the day, so I am excited.
Today is the day for Gary Simpson. What a story. Through Jeff Coble. As we look at our leaderboard, we can see 4 of our competitors on the board early, but our favorite coming into this competition, Jeff Coble, still hunting and searching. See if he scores when we return. Watching the All-American Championship, Lake Hamilton, Hot Springs, Arkansas, the favorite coming into the final day. This man right here, Jeff Coble.
Sometimes I put an extra O-ring on the back hook, so maybe they'll get the hook a little bit better, but it causes the hooks to become hooked more. But I kind of feel like you might get a fish that you normally wouldn't like that.
Jeff Coble is sticking with his plan, Jerry. He's still throwing that crankbait while everyone else is catching the schooling.
Yeah, and I want you to pay attention all through the show. Jeff Coble will sit down for the whole day.
Right.
Unlike most guys, are standing up and kind of leaning against the back seat. And he's lost the fish right there. He cannot seem to get on the board, but you know what, Tommy? He has been on the board before, hasn't he?
Absolutely. Back in 1995 was the first year for the Walmart FLW Tour. The third event of the year 1995 was held here in Santee Cooper, South Carolina. Wonderful lake. Back in that year, it was probably at its peak during 1990. Lots of cover for bass. Man, did they ever catch it.
And Jeff caught the largest one-day stringer we ever had caught to this day still.
Absolutely.
On an FLW Tour event. And, at that time I thought, boy, Jeff Coble, he must be a worm-flipping son of a gun, and he was. But, it was a little later on that we began to realize that he is such an expert with that crankbait, and I'm telling you, when he sits down and starts getting that rod tip low to the water, I know he doesn't have any fish yet, but you better watch out.
Well, as you can see, he's behind this man right here, Ricky Green.
Golly, he's going this way. Holy cow, that's a bad thing about throwing that far. Golly. I need an automatic retriever on that one. My arm's about to fall off now. Come on, Becky. Get it. Golly. There he goes, chasing another way. I just can't get in front of him. He's crazy. Oh, there's 2 or 3 there. That's my school I've been looking for if I can get one. Oh, it's a big school, too. It's a big school. Big school. Come on. I can't believe it. I'm right in the middle of them. They're not biting. Holy cow. You gotta be kidding me. Oh my gosh. Right here, baby. Come on. Just grabbed it, barely missed it. That's my big school I've been looking for. Good grief. Plumb amazing. Oh my gosh, that's sickening. Can't squander an opportunity like that. There's one. I've got him hooked bad. I don't know. I can't tell pulling him how good he is. Feels pretty good. He's not very big. I barely got him hooked. He is number 5. And that's what we're counting on today is 5. So that's my tournament limit. Give me a little bit. I know he's bigger than the smallest one that I have. So that's 5. Get back up here because this schooling fish deal is quick as you can get back out there.
Pretty exciting stuff from Ricky Green, just down the road, Arkadelphia, Arkansas, from North Carolina. Here's Jeff Coble, the only man still not on the board, still searching.
That was pretty exciting watching those schooling bass, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
And again, everybody but Jeff is doing that. Everyone out there is chasing schooling bass at the moment, and that's the reason why they're racking up so many catches so fast.
Not a monster, but
That's David Fort on the left, Ricky Smith on the right. They definitely do have their hands full with schooling fish. Jeff Coble looking intently. He may be looking for some schooling fish himself before it's all over with. Take a look at the leaderboard right now. Keith Green, all the excitement out there with the schoolers. He's your leader. 5 fish, 7 pounds. We'll be back. They call this the #1 tournament in the world for the working man, the fisherman who's not a professional fisherman. This is the All American. Lake Hamilton, Hot Springs, Arkansas, $100,000 to our winner today. 5 finalists going at it. With David Smith right there from Mississippi. Of course, this is the first show of the year for the Walmart FLW Tour, and we will get into the actual tour itself next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, a 2-hour extravaganza from Lake Okeechobee.
And I always think about this tournament being a mixture of pros and guys that really don't do it for a living. The FLW will get us back into the Clark Windlets and the Daniels and the Cluns and the David Fritz. So the big boys are coming up.
What I'm going to do right quick, I'm going to pitch my moving marker out here. Just to know, because yesterday they were holding on a piece of brush on that ledge there, and they were breaking over the top of it. So if I can just keep my bearings in this area, I can throw them all around here and look. Ooh, I don't throw myself out low. It's only about 14 foot right here. That's when they really get active, when they get up on top of that ridge. I guess they run the bait out of the deep channel over here in 30, 35. There's one. There's 2 good ones right there. Oh, that's a big fish. If I can catch him, we will be in good shape. Well, that was a monster. There he is, too. Stay down, baby. These fish are unbelievable jumpers. He's not, I really honestly don't believe this is a fish that jumped over my bait. This isn't a fish that jumped over my bait, but it's a good one. This isn't the big one. That's the thing with schooling fish. Sometimes you catch the smaller one because they're a little bit faster.
Keith is starting the culling process here. He probably picks up a few ounces every time he calls the fish. Remember now, it's not the number of fish, it's the total weight these guys are after.
There's things breaking out there. I don't know what they are. They are definitely breaking.
Well, there you go. Jeff Coble started the day with his deep cranking plan. Finally took something visual to get him into school, so to speak.
I guess he's with the old you can't beat them, join them deal at the moment here.
Why not?
But I heard Keith say the magic word there a minute ago in that some of these fish yesterday. He threw out a marker. He said these fish yesterday dropped down on a brush pile.
Got him in the worst thing in the
They
world.
drop down on a brush pile. That's where you got to watch out for these crankbait guys, because then it's
Like
going to
that.
change. You know, these fish that are swimming around there chasing minnows are going to find themselves some covers, and then they'll be set up for a crankbait or a worm or something down in the bush.
A guy like Jeff Coble.
Absolutely.
That'll be one at 9 o'clock as usual. I spent a lot of time here. I did probably a little differently than most of the competitors. I'd never heard tell of the lake before, so I knew it had to be fairly small. I didn't get any local help. I just came out during the winter of the lake. I heard the lake was down like 5 feet. I looked around, moved a few brush piles where I wanted them to be, and just, took my chances that might work, because I had no history of the lake. I didn't know what might work, but I knew that if I could catch fish like that, I wouldn't have a lot of competition doing that.
A little bit of a revelation for Jeff Coble. I know you visited with him when he was through.
Oh,
Did you know that was what he was up to?
Yeah,
doing
absolutely.
landscaping?
Those guys really worked hard. Those guys, David Wright, his fishing buddy from over in North Carolina, came with him, and they went out, didn't even take a rod and reel with them most of the time. They just went out and worked on brush piles. And Tommy, I hate to keep wearing this out, but I want to say once again that these guys, Jeff and David Fritz and Gerald Beck, that's what they do. They fish these brush piles. They set up on them perfectly. They work hard. We'll tell you a little bit later how they set up on them. It is so important to them.
I was actually counting on the fact that a lot of these guys hadn't been in this situation of this final day cut deal where you got media and TV cameras and stuff rolling. I think that'll intimidate a lot of them and maybe play with their mind a little bit. And boats following them around, I'm pretty used to that. I think that might hurt a couple of them that are not used to that. Hopefully, I'll take any advantage I can get right now.
Okay. That's 4. Not bad quality-wise. Probably not good enough to win, but I'll just feel so much better with 5 of them in the box. I guess I better retie. I got it.
Oh, it's a little fish. But you know what? I love him right now just as much as I do a 6-pounder. Look at the black spots on him. Isn't that pretty? Gorgeous. A lot of these fish up here have these. I don't know what that is. I'm sure a biologist could tell us, but let's weigh them up. Ooh. 1.6. Well, that's better than not having him.
$100,000 will be the paycheck for winner today in this Red Bull All American tournament. These guys have gone a long way to get here. 22 divisions all across America. You have to finish top 30 in your division, then finish in the top 8 in your regional to make it here to this contest. So the best of the best, a big body of fishermen are here, and the final 5 are in action.
They talk all the time about how tough it is getting here. thinking about the things you just said. Imagine the problems you have making it to this day, man.
Absolutely. Good days, bad days, you got to put up with all of them and prevail in the end. And these are the 5 guys who have.
And you're down, stretching out little 12.
Wow.
Oh, no!
That didn't just happen, did it?
And more problems, Tommy.
Oh, my God. It's not over yet for David Ford of Olathe, Kansas. Man,
That happens. You like to think a fish like that doesn't cost you, but you never know at the end of the day, or till the end of the day. But he's a chunky little fish. He would have definitely been one I'd want to cull. But I'd like to have him now because he'd have been my 3rd fish of the morning. And it's always a good thing to, to get that limit, little or not, and then you can go to work and set on a place like where we started there this morning. So I can, I can sit there and just till I get the bites I want.
Well, I guess the good thing there is that he was measuring that fish, and maybe it wasn't going to measure.
Yeah, hopefully that minute wasn't so big. I hope so. Gosh, that hurts to watch.
If that had been about a 2.5 pounder, how about that?
You'd have gone in after, I guarantee
boy, that
you.
would have been
I would
tough.
have.
Well, speaking of 2.5 pounders,
Ricky
That's
Smith
5
from
to
Mississippi,
9:30.
he's going to take over the lead by just a few ounces over Keith Green.
Got one over there. Well, it must be the world's record. That guy's going to win the tournament if that thing's as big as it looks. It must be a non-species. No, I guess it's a bass. That is not good. That's a big fish right there.
Hybrid striper. Probably weighs 10 pounds.
Please. Wow. That was a sigh of relief that he threw him back, because that was a nice fish. I don't know what species it was, but I was worried.
Well, Keith Green, they've been calling you the favorite since they, heard that you made it into the All American. I know that's not easy. They call it your home lake. This really isn't your home lake, is it?
No, sir, it really isn't. I'm close. I'm 35 miles from here, but I really don't come over here to fish a whole lot, to tell you the truth. Got a really good lake right there at my home, and when I'm home from traveling around fishing all the time, I usually just go spend my time out there. So I don't fish over here that often.
hey, Keith, aren't you about ready to? I know you're just as proud as you can be of your dad, but aren't you kind of looking forward to breaking away and becoming a guy on your own?
That's right, Jerry. It really, I'm proud of my dad and proud of everything he's done, but it just comes a time in your career that you've got to separate yourself and try to make a name for yourself. And actually this week I've listened to the TV, and Craig O'Neill called me Ricky Green both times. So, I'll talk to Craig when we get done with this deal. When they give me,
You know what? It changed his mind better than anything.
Yeah.
Win this deal.
When you're fishing for these schooling fish, I realize you're going to fish for whichever one strikes.
right.
But don't you kind of get the feeling that the fish that you don't see break might be a little bit larger?
Oh, sure. I will have it on camera, but this morning it happened about a three-pounder, I believe. You'd probably see it. It jumped over the top of my bait, and then I worked it a couple more feet, and I caught one, but he was a 2-pounder. So I know it wasn't the same fish, and that's usually what happens to schooling fish is you catch the smaller one.
Yeah, they're a little more aggressive, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a little bit more aggressive. So, but sometimes when they go down and you just get one to come up, it's a big fish, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do right now. They've really quit breaking per se, and they're just kind of just sitting there. And if I can get one to come up and bite, usually it'll be a little bit better fish in the afternoon.
Hey, I don't want to get back on your dad again, but just tell us, what is your dad doing right now?
Well, I believe he's en route right now. Probably he was over at Mississippi River. We have a FLW over in Memphis next week, and he was practicing a couple days over there. That's why he wasn't at the weigh-in the first 2 days. So he told me if I made top 5, he was going to come. So I got a hold of him last night and said, you better come on.
So he's just cranked up and headed back over here from Memphis, which isn't but about 3 hours.
Yeah,
away.
that's right. It's real close, so that worked out really good this time.
All right, we'll be looking for Ricky, and we'll see you at the weigh-in for sure, Keith.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, now we've got 4 out of the 5 of us fishing one pretty small area. I'm amazed at that. I guess that tells you something. Maybe I picked a good spot to fish.
I don't know how many times we've seen it before, a big lake to fish in, and 4 or 5 of our final 5 guys wind up in the same spot.
It always
Knew they
happens.
couldn't
and
resist
you know
forever.
what? That happens when you got 5 good fishermen together. They're going to eventually find the right place, and many of them will be doing the same thing, using the same technique, and then
That's a better
filter
fish.
down to the same piece of water.
Gary Simpson found a good fish there. It looked like a pretty good sized bass.
It's a little bit better. That one will push 2 pounds at least.
The All American from Hot Springs National Park, Arkansas. We're on Lake Hamilton. Keith Green leads our final 5 competitors here on Championship Day. That man's looking to make up some ground right there. That is Jeff Coble, Henderson, North Carolina.
And we talked earlier about how they set up on these fish, and that is so important. Probably need an hour to talk about that.
Yeah.
But, Jeff, and where he sets up on his brush piles is extremely important. Same thing with Keith right here. He is not fishing for schooling bass anymore. He's fishing in the same area.
Yes, sir.
But now he's fishing
Yes, sir.
on the bottom with a grub. You know, just again trying to find these spots where the fish go after they've been schooling. Things are starting to settle down a little bit more now.
He's picked up a good one
A
there.
real good one, and I think that's what we'll see is better fish when they start catching
help
them
right
in
there,
a little
buddy.
bit more depth.
That helps.
He's got about a pound lead now on the rest of the field, and back to cranking now is Jeff Coble.
And again, when he's setting down, he's finding the right place to fish and continuing to stay in that spot. He does better.
Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Oh. Oh. Glad he was hooked good. If I catch a couple of more lambs, might be a good day.
Jeff Coble looking to become the next winner of the All American. That is a distinguished list when you look through the years back in the 80s. Pretty big name. Shaw Grigsby won one. So did Rick Clunt. O.T. Fears moved into the 90s. More winners. Joe Thomas, you can see there. Clark Wentland, former Angler of the Year. The Walmart FLW Tour. Doug Garrett, all the rest. In the mid-90s, Stephen Browning, who could forget that emotional victory on the Arkansas River at Pine Bluff. Same place the next year. Daniel Branskin from out in the Las Vegas area came down to show the Southern boys how to fish. Kim Carver, the winner at La Crosse, Wisconsin on the Mississippi River. And Mike Baldwin, taking advantage of the no-cull rule, 1999 in La Crosse.
Man, what a list of heavy-duty fishermen. Our 5 guys today are in an interesting situation. They're all fishing in the same area, practically looking each other in the eyes. They make a cast. Jeff Coble nearly jumped out of the boat a minute ago when somebody caught a big striper. So everybody needs to pay attention to their own fishing.
No, they're still here. Those are the better fish coming up. Oh, baby. Come on to daddy. Come to daddy. Better fish. Welcome home. Post-spawn, the tail bleeding. They're out here healing. I'm gonna get well. We're here for the day, guys.
The ultimate breakthrough in upright sleep.
So this is Lake Hamilton, one of the 3 big lakes on the Washita River. This is the site of 2000 All American Tournament leader right now. Keith Green, not too far behind is that man right there, Gary Simpson from Gainesville, Florida. He's got another fish on.
And I keep thinking that in order to win this tournament, you've got to start fishing on the bottom. Crankbait or a grub like Keith Green was doing there with Nova. Boy, we could be wrong. Obviously, if you catch enough fish schooling, 5 of them are going to be pretty good size. So this may be the right technique. Boy, they're catching a lot of fish.
Gary Simpson, if this will work, this keeper fish is going to be a 7th fish.
And the wind is, again, very important. And also the cloud cover is very important because that dictates how the minnows move around or whether they move around. And that, in turn, tells you what's going to happen with the bass. They are definitely going to chase those minnows when they get up to the surface.
Green's got another one on there.
Can't tell.
And you can tell by the background, Tommy,
Oh, yeah,
he's still
sure
fishing in the same place there. Absolutely. And these guys line up on these spots. They get some markers on the bank. They need to get 2 markers on the bank and actually line the 2 markers up. That's how they find the exact. Boy, these are good fish.
That is a good one there. That's another color. Solidify his lead a little bit more right there.
They have to line up these 2 markers and then work really hard to find that brush pile. But
of course, you don't need a marker to see that. That is what we're looking for right there, right?
That is some real schooling fish right now.
What an incredible shot. That's great.
They're just gorging themselves on small bait that probably, I'll bet it's about an inch long, maybe a little bit longer than that. And they corner. You know, bass is just like an animal. They will corner the bait. Sometimes they even corner it against the bank. And as you can see right there, just tear into it.
Give you an idea of how I'm setting up on this place. I'm just using a simple method of triangulation. And what I'm doing, I've got a flagpole over there on this point, and there's some particular houses over there that I'm lining up this way. Then down here, we've got some big radio towers up on a mountain, and I'm lining up off a boathouse down there. So the deal is, when you find these places offshore like this, just, ooh, look at that big fish bust down there. Good gracious. Just get you a couple of triangulation lineups, and you can come right in on these places. It's not difficult.
There he is. That's not a white bass. I don't believe it. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
He acts like it's another big one.
He is crankbait big time right now.
All that is.
Seems like our fish here in the last hour and a half of this particular part of the day have been about a half pound larger, Tommy. Is that just a coincidence?
Well, it sure looks like it. Jeff Coble's got one of the big ones there. That's the big things for him. Just a few ounces now behind the leader, Keith Green.
And I'm back on the crankbait.
That
kick, Tommy. I think it's
big
time. Schooling bass is out.
All right. Well, you know.
You just bounce back and forth. I still think the better fish will be caught off the bottom, but you never can tell, boy. The way they're schooling.
David Fort's still looking for his limit. That could be his 5th keeper right there.
Don't come off, baby. Don't come off.
Right, you don't worry about him coming off before he gets in the boat. When he gets in the boat, that's where you
Yeah,
want to
that's
hang
where
on
he
to
is
him,
headed.
David. Remember now, hang on, put your foot on him and just lighten.
You're a bad guy, Tommy.
No, I don't mean to kid David. That's good. That's a limit for David Fort now. He's got 5.
Laying that bait down another time.
Hot Springs, Arkansas, on Lake Hamilton. It's the All American. Keith Green and Jeff Coble are sitting atop the field right now. It's pretty much come down to these 2 guys.
About all you can hope for in these things is to get yourself into a position to win. I got enough fish now. I think I'm in a position to win. I just need to catch a 3-pounder to make it happen. And I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing, fishing some more brush, and hopefully I'll catch one before the day's over. I only have an hour and a half.
Keith Green, same place it looks like, Jerry.
And I have to say, Tommy, that I'm really pulling for Keith here. We got a lot of We have a lot of friends in the top five. Don't
Sure,
we?
absolutely.
lot of
Jeff's a
guys.
good friend. They're all great guys.
Yeah, but man, I tell you what, I've known Ricky for so many years. I know he's doing so hard for Keith right now. He is close. You're right. I think
rod
he and Coble have kind of
How's that for the
separated
camera?
themselves from the other guys. Someone needs to catch a 4 or 5 pounder, and I don't think they're going to do that.
That would do it. That's not a bad fish, though, there for Keith.
Fishing a little bit of depth, and Jeff Coble, of course, is fishing in a little bit of depth.
Believe that'll help.
Fish. Broke his rod on that fish there, didn't he, Tommy?
That's incredible.
Okay,
You can
get
hear
out
the
of here.
pop. It's an unmistakable sound.
Hey, you know what? Every time Coble gets done fishing a brush pile, before he leaves it, he throws a worm in it. Practically every time. A worm, sometimes a jig, but he throws it in there just for just a shot or two. Then he moves to another brush pile.
That last fish, he's down about a pound now to Keith Green.
And he's fishing with when he fishes a crankbait, he's fishing with a homemade Zoom lure Ed Chambers crankbait. Now this is a worm right here, I believe.
Yeah, that's what he put on right before he
Right,
threw it in
and you can tell by the way he was working it was not the crankbait.
there. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that would look a little bigger. That's not bad.
No, we're talking about ounces now. Tom.
Yeah.
Really. Just an ounce or two is going to make a big difference, I'll bet you.
That may have caught Keith Green right there. And boy, this would be a big one for Keith Green to win.
I've been trying for several years to make it to the All American, and really 6 years to get here. And boy, if I wanted it would just be, it would help my fishing career. I already fished full time, but everybody knows that does it. It's a hard way to make a living because it's hard to depend on your winnings. But 100,000, that'd go a long way for me. It would help me out tremendously. Been struggling a little this year, not doing very well in the FLW or the bass tournaments. So, man, it'd mean a lot. It really would. And not just that, just to finally get a big win like that, because I've been trying at a lot of tournaments. But you never know what's going to happen until you go way in. But I like my chances right now. I'm going in. I think I've done my due. Close enough. We just got to put it on the trailer and see what's going to happen. I feel good about it.
No really huge fish today, but man, it has been a great battle. Keith Green and this man here, Jeff Coble, neck and neck. Too close to call at this point. Just going to have to see what happens at the weigh-in.
Well, that's it for the 2000 Red Man All American. Tell your friends you saw it on ESPN.
Listen, I've tried. By Weed Eater, yards ahead, season after season. And by Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
A battle between 5 fishermen today with lots of fish from every boat. I think, though, it's no secret it will come down to Keith Green and Jeff Coble for the championship.
Wonderful. We have come to the moment of truth here. We have Jeff Coble in the lead. He's 11 pounds, 6 ounces. 11.6. Jeff, come on up here. We want everybody to get a good look at what goes on up here. 11 pounds, 6 ounces, a limit, having been weighed in. Keith Green has weighed in 4 fish.
He could have one more left.
He could have one more left. He might not have one more left. He needs 2 pounds, 10 ounces to win the 2000 Red Man All American. Keith, let's see. All right. Got to be 210. Got to be 210. 2 pounds, 10 ounces is what we're looking for here. For Keith Green, going to be close. Going to be close.
1 fish. 2 pounds, 4 ounces.
Oh, my goodness. There's your champion, Jeff Coble. Jeff Coble from Henderson, North Carolina. What a great bunch of guys. Man, oh, man. There's the champ right there. Take his picture real quick. Don't go anywhere, Keith. What do you think, big guy?
I guess I finally got the big
Yeah, you finally closed the deal on this one, the big one, biggest one you've ever won, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Tell us how you did it all week long. Great groundwork, great research. You visited here during the holidays and did your homework. That's what started it all, wasn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, it is. And like I said in one of the press conferences, I knew that the lake, in fact, the only person I called was Jerry McKinnis to find out if he even knew where the lake was and how big it was. He told me he didn't know much about it, so he called Bobby Murray. I think he lives here. And Bobby told him that the lake was like 7,000 acres and basically told him that it was down in the wintertime. So we took a chance that it would be down, and David and I came out here and between Christmas and New Year's, and it was down about 5 feet. And we weren't on the water long before, I looked, there was a few brush piles sticking out of the water and basically boat docks. And I said, well, it's going to be one, either flipping boat docks or fishing man-made brush piles because there's no other options, really. I didn't expect to catch a lot in those brush piles. I thought that, there were still fish spawning. I thought they would still be pretty shallow, but I did pretty good, actually.
How about a Fuji flashback today that details David Port's unusual method of releasing fish?
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.